funding. And so this question is specifically for the K through 12 panelists. But currently, Texas ranks 42nd in the nation for per pupil spending. I'm an educator, I teach in McAllen. I know that Texas is experiencing a teacher work shortage. Dr. King mentioned concerns around mental health. I know families are concerned about school safety. But my question is, how do you see those, that need for funding or those concerns manifest as administrators in the K through 12 system, and what would you say to legislators about increasing or the need to increase the basic allotment this session?
Grab this mic.
That's a great question, because that's been one of our first priorities in our area is to increase the basic allotment in our finance. We felt all along. I've been a superintendent in the Valley for 14 years, and we know that our funding is not compatible to other areas in the state, and we've been able to make it work with very limited funds, but we know that there's got to be a better formula to find more equity in the way we fund our school districts in Texas, specifically South Texas. Because of 14 years that I've been a superintendent, I've been a superintendent in the Upper Valley, in Edinburgh, now in Brownsville. It's the same issues that we have throughout the whole valley. It's just that there's not a fair formula out there that funds us the way we're supposed to get funded. One of our priorities, and once again, this legislative priority, is to get more per pupil in the funding. We are advocating for enrollment versus average daily attendance. We feel that perhaps they could fund us through enrollment numbers versus average daily attendance. And again, what we get per student is not as equitable. Brownsville gets about $7,200 per child. I'm sure Harling's around the same amount. But you have districts upstate that get like 9, 10, 11, 12,000 per child. And there's not equity there. But the expectations are the same. And we've been able to make it work down here. I mentioned earlier that Brownsville has close to 90% of low-income families. And we've been able to be very successful the way we've been working with our dollars. But obviously, we could do more and offer more opportunities. And teacher pay right now is also one of the biggest issues coming this legislative session. There's a shortage of teachers. Hopefully that the legislature would consider an increase like in House Bill 3 back in 2019 for more teacher pay. We're also advocating for a higher teacher pay so that we can have more teachers stay in the field and encourage the young ones to pursue a teaching degree and eliminate the shortage of teachers that we currently have. And a lot has to do with pay. A lot has to do with excessive paperwork. House Bill 4545 has been an issue. The reading academies has been also an issue. And there's a lot of teacher burnout and low pay. That's why we don't have enough teachers out there. We've been able to make it work with substitutes, and I still have a lot of vacancies in Brownsville, over 60 vacancies, and we're almost in February, and we haven't been able to fill in those positions. So definitely the funding it's got to get better. There's got to be more equity in the funding formula throughout the state, because here in South Texas, we're one of the lowest per pupil that we get from the state. And we'd like for this legislature to reconsider the funding formula to be more fair, more equity, and level the playing field.
Dr. Noyola, do you have any comments to that question?
Yeah, I think Dr. Gutierrez really hit on a number of the concerns, and they're not Brownsville concerns or Harlingen concerns. They're educational concerns, and not just here in the Valley, they're educational concerns across the entire state. We continue to struggle with the COVID aftermath. We may not be dealing with COVID in our schools, but we're dealing with the aftermaths, trying to close these gaps that have become greater. We were on a great trajectory pre-COVID of really closing gaps, but those 2 years have really taken a toll on our students, taken a toll on our teachers, as Rene spoke about. We had huge retirements that happened during the COVID crises. And so we are combating the gaps, we're combating not having the staff to be able to bring our students back, along with an accountability system that this year is going to raise the standards. Standards are being raised, yet we're still trying to get our children to get back on track. And so I think that there are a lot of areas that need focus at the state level, but funding, to your point, if we can't get our teachers into the classrooms to work with our students, one of the things that is often talked about is that we have ESSER funding. Yes, the federal government gave us a lot of ESSER funding, but those monies are going to go away. And so when we are struggling with closing those gaps, what will happen once those ESSER fundings go? There's going to be a cliff. There's going to be a cliff that if the funding is not available, there will be increased struggles across education in this state. And so, as to Rene's point about really looking at what does that per pupil funding look like, that is where we will make up those, we'll have the funding to work toward making up those gaps, and then all those additional issues that are impacting us and being able to do so.
Thank you. So again, thank you